After hearing the song that's been played over and over, that was a ridiculous request done by somebody who absolutely loved the song and the radio host. I don't think I'm gonna ever hear that song the same again. I'm literally sitting here right now peeling myself an orange that I'm going to eat momentarily. And just randomly, and for some reason, I found myself wanting to watch myself a psychological horror film. Well, not necessarily a horror film, but a psychological thriller type of suspenseful, tension filling film. And I ended up going to the 1970s and going around 1971 and picking this movie. Now, I just wanted to watch it just for my own enjoyment because I haven't seen it in quite some time. And I figured, you know what? After watching this, I have to come on camera and talk about this for a little bit. Because the thing is, Play Misty for me, it's very symbolic with the title itself, especially with the fact that you have a guy named Dave Gardner who was played by Clint Eastwood, and this was Eastwood's directorial debut. Him and his current girlfriend Toby were having some issues with each other with their relationship, so Dave ends up going to a nightclub and finds himself meeting a woman that he thought was, lovely, nice, and caring, named Eleanor. He ends up fucking her multiple times and thought she was very steady. But it turns out, as he does later research and realize exactly what her track record is of insanity and quite deliberately psychotic, he basically says, "You know what? I can't be with you anymore. I have a girlfriend that I love and need to fix with, and plus, you need to get yourself back on track." So obviously, she didn't take it very kindly, and after that, she's showing her true colors of who she is, not only as a human being, but how obsessive she is with Dave's radio station and with him in general, because she thought that this was the guy of her dreams. You know what I mean? Completely. That would fix everything for her of what was wrong when she was in the insane asylum, quote unquote. But see, Play Misty is the symbolic feature of following the request of someone who is obsessive, but at the same time playing a favorite song just to particular one person, not for others. You want to know what the real symbolism that I have from this movie that really sticks out? Don't stick your dick in crazy. I was there. Don't stick your dick in crazy. Because once you stick your dick in crazy, you basically realize that the person didn't turn out to be exactly who he or she thought they were. And that's what this movie was for poor Clint Eastwood's character. Uh, Dave Gardner thought that this woman was nice, but she ended up being fucking nuts. But this is what makes this movie so great. For him being, like I said, being this his directorial debut. Thing is, beforehand, around the 60s, Clint Eastwood was doing a lot of Western stuff, raising his career after he did Rawhide and television for quite some time in his younger years. Came to the motion pictures, starting off, doing some not so well movies. But once Sergio Leone got a hold of him and realized that this guy's gonna be perfect as a main star, brought him to do the Man with No Name series, and then afterwards doing Hang 'Em High. Yeah, Clint Eastwood was doing a lot of Western stuff, showcasing exactly who he is as an actor and what the type of genre that he's playing in. But once the 70s came around and Clint Eastwood, like a lot of actors and actresses out there, they want to go into a direction of making a movie themselves and learning to work behind the camera, writing a screenplay, learning how the camera works, and having a particular score, setting, story, cast of actors and actresses to play for your movie, you name it. Clint Eastwood dived into that in 71, and lo and behold, he even changed his performance up from doing that Man with No Name to being a typical guy who's trying to get through his life as a radio DJ, and ends up being fucking stalked, harassed, and literally almost fucking killed by an insane woman that he thought was, going to be his new girlfriend, but turns out that wasn't the case. And that's the thing that I loved about this film, is that the acting was just fucking sublime, no doubt about it. I forgot the actress who played Evelyn. Her alone, the way she started off is, someone that you would think is just another woman that you see on the streets, all nice and has those looks of a one personality. But once she showcased the true colors, exactly what her actual intelligence are, you really saw a lot of shots that Clint Eastwood was doing. See, the thing is, watching this movie, seeing how easy to pan the camera at her, having such a dark, omnibus, very quiet, silent surroundings with white noise in the background, like using a radio, for example, of playing up-tempo jazz music as like the fitting for what all the bullshit that was going on towards the later in the film, and a lot of crazy stuff that was building towards the tensions, especially the fact that how she was, harassing him, going into his room or following him or calling him on the phone. Just a lot of white noise, because the thing is that when silence is golden like that, that's where the tension and the whole entire atmosphere of what's being portrayed, what's going to be set up towards, really does make you feel creeped out. And that's what I liked about her performance alone, is that seeing the shots, seeing how she came off, seeing her mentality. See, thing is, I got so much Norman Bates from this particular performance, except a couple differences right there. And that's one thing that I really respect Clint Eastwood for doing for this film, is that I honestly really feel that this Play Misty, for me, just the title, the concept, the story, this would honestly feel like a Alfred Hitchcock film. It felt like an Alfred Hitchcock movie, because the uneasiness, coming off normal, but something's wrong, the complete silence, tension, dark atmosphere, suspense, wanting to see the bad character who's been causing so much hell for a particular person ends up, once the final confrontation happens, you want to see the good guy end up killing or getting rid of the person who's been giving him all that help. The whole satisfying fact is that the film was literally building up and building up and building up to where you wanted to hate the villain so much more. I mean, you had natural hatred for the particular person because of their motives, what their will is, and how they're coming off. It's just, you've had enough of this bullshit, and once that final confrontation happened, you just give the fucking ending, or that whole entire climax build up, a round of applause. It was perfect, and Clint Eastwood delivered a lot with that. Adding those frustrations, those emotions, and putting into this movie was just great. But yeah, it's like I said, if this wasn't a Clint Eastwood film and it was like something under Alfred Hitchcock, along with his other films like Psycho, The Birds, The Trouble with Harry, Rear Window, Dial M for Murder, and various other films, this would definitely probably be an Alfred Hitchcock catalog if this was, his title. But yeah, Play Misty, for me, the film itself is just, it's spooky. It's a fresh story. It's something out of the normal of what Clint Eastwood usually does in his films, adding himself to be a normal character who does a normal job and ends up, like I said, sticking his dick in crazy and ends up bringing hell for him and poor misery for him and his girlfriend. So overall, Play Misty, for me, is a film that I personally gave myself a 4 out of 5 to. It is a fantastic goddamn movie. Lots of crazy shit that happens, and it tells you exactly of what the whole mood is, what the theme is, symbolism, and that's all I can really say about this film, is that it's just a fucking wild film, and a bravo performance by Clint Eastwood delivering such a directorial debut as this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to have to do it for my little talk on Play Misty, for me, and ciao for now.